Okay, here we go. The Pirates just came out with their City Connect jerseys this past week, which marks the end of the City Connect jerseys for this year. A lot of people had something to say about the Pirates City Connect jerseys, and I'll give my thoughts here in this video. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to rank all of the City Connect jerseys up to this point. So let's get to it. Okay, here we go. Let's start off with the LA Angels. And you know, I actually really like these ones. I love the vintage look to them. Kind of gives me surfer vibes. And I love like that off-white. I love the red mixed in. I love the thick red sleeves. I love the way the number is as well. It just gives me like a retro vintage kind of a feel. I like the colors. I wouldn't say it's one of the top ones, but I really like them overall. I'll go A for the LA Angels. Up next, we have the Milwaukee Brewers. I don't think these are absolutely amazing, but they're not bad by any means. I think they're just a pretty solid, fun-looking jersey. They get the colors from the people's flag of Milwaukee, which is for pride and unity. That explains the light blue, the yellow mixed in there. I think it's just a fun-looking jersey. I like the font. I like that it just says Brew Crew. They didn't really go crazy with these, but they just wanted to make something fun. I can appreciate that. I'll go B for the Milwaukee Brewers. Up next, we have the Chicago Cubs. I'm going to be honest, I'm not a big fan of these. I like that it says Wrigleyville. I think that's fun, but I feel like with all the history the Chicago Cubs have, I think they could have done more here. I think they just tried to play it safe, and then it just ended up being completely underwhelming. I like the navy blue. I like the light blue mixed in, but man, I just think you could have done so much more of these. They have some patches on there that represent the Chicago River. I don't know. I'm just not really a fan. I think they just swung and missed on these. I'm going to go F for the Chicago Cubs. Coming in next, we have the Arizona Diamondbacks. I'm actually a really big fan of these jerseys. I think they're very clean. They didn't go crazy, but I think they executed it so perfectly. I love that it says the Serpientes on the front there. They have the cool font with the snake in it. I love how they just kind of switched the colors. They, instead of the main color being that crimson red, they went with that desert gold, and then they had the number being the red. I think they're just so clean. I think they didn't go crazy, but they did it in just the best way possible. They just kept it simple, but they executed it so well. For me, I'm going to go A. I wouldn't go S tier for them, but I think it's just a really effective jersey overall. Up next, we have the LA Dodgers. These are so boring to me. I thought they were their spring training jerseys when they first came out with them, but then I looked at it a little more closely and I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, these are a little different. They say Los Dodgers on the front. That's paying tribute to Fernando Valenzuela. These are just really boring jerseys. I don't think they're really all that much different in terms of the colors. Again, like a rich history with the Dodgers. I think you could have just done so much more here. I'm going F for the Dodgers. Up next, we have their rivals, the San Francisco Giants. I am not really a big fan of these jerseys. I can appreciate that they try to get a little creative. Where my problem lies is just the color scheme. I just don't like that orange with only the white. I think there needs to be more black mixed in this. One of my favorite jerseys of all time was the black San Francisco Giants jerseys from back in the 2000s. I loved those jerseys. And to me, just the white and the orange, it feels like just something is missing here. I like the fog concept, but I don't know. I like the creativity. I just think they didn't quite hit the mark. For me personally, when I looked at these jerseys, I thought these were like the Gatorade slow pitch softball jerseys. I don't know. I just think of Gatorade when I look at these. I'll give them a little credit for the creativity, for what they have on the sleeves, and they tried to use the fog with the G. So I'll give them a D, but overall, these are nowhere near my favorites. Up next, we have the Miami Marlins, one of the most popular City Connect jerseys out there. I absolutely love everything about this jersey. I think this is exactly what teams need to be doing. They hit the mark when it comes to the color scheme. They use the red, they use the light blue, they even have the white pinstripe. So just the design and all is just awesome to me. I love what it represents. They represent the Sugar Kings, who played in Cuba. They were a AAA affiliate back from, I believe, around 1940 to 1960. So you're paying tribute to them. Obviously in Miami, there's a lot of Cuban ties there. So to me, when you hit with the design as well as the meaning, I mean, I think you have to be S tier. I absolutely love these jerseys. Up next, we have the Houston Astros. I really like these jerseys. I love the navy blue. I love the orange. I love the gradient of the gold and the orange going down the middle of the jersey. They have it on the sleeves as well. I like that it says Space City, paying tribute, obviously, to their work with space travel there in Houston. I think it's just a really solid jersey overall. I feel like it could use a little something. The font, I do like the font, but I feel like it's a little safe, but that's not a bad thing by any means. I wouldn't put it up there with the Marlins, but I'll give it a solid A. Up next, we have the Washington Nationals. I'm going to be honest, at first when I saw these, I was not the biggest fan, but they really grew on me over time. You know, it's a very simple look, but they also went a little bold at the same time, if that makes any sense. Now, the WSH is pretty simple, kind of like the PGH with the Pirates, which is a little different to me. I'll talk about that in just a little bit. But with the Nationals, I like that they just have the big bold letters in white, but they also have the pink. I think that's what took me a little bit to get used to. You don't really ever see that color on baseball jerseys, but I think they did it really well because it blends in really well with that gray. I love the cherry blossoms on there. Obviously, you see a lot of those over in the nation's capital. I think it's just really simple, but they just did it so effectively. I actually, it's funny because I was not the biggest fan, but over time I started to think, you know what? I think these are some of the best ones out there. I'm going to go S tier for the Nationals. Up next, we have my Boston Red Sox. When they first came out with these, people were pretty divided on them. Now, the big thing that really sticks out is the yellow. That, to me, for me personally, it was a lot of yellow. Now, I love the meaning behind the jerseys. Obviously, the colors, they represent the Boston Marathon. The tragedy back in 2013 holds a special place in all of Boston. And so I love the meaning. I do love the blue and the yellow. To me, I think there's just too much yellow. Obviously, again, I love what they represent, but when it comes to the way they did the colors, I feel like they didn't execute it the best way they could have. I would have liked more of this blue. I love the blue. I think it's an awesome color. And, I like the jersey. It's just, I feel like it could have been done a little differently. But obviously, there's a huge sentimental factor with this one. So that's where I'm going to go in the middle with this one. I just think they could have done it a little differently. On to the Colorado Rockies, and I think they did just the right amount before doing too much. It's an extremely bold design, but I really enjoy it. You got the mountains in the background. That, to me, out of all of these, is probably the most creative design out of all of them. And again, bold, but they did just the right amount, in my opinion. I love the dark green color, paying homage to the pine trees in Colorado. I think that was just a really nice touch. The font is the same font that they use for the license plates there in Colorado. I think it's just awesome. Like, it was a little, when you first saw it, it was a little like, whoa, like, what is this? But once it kind of sunk in a little bit, at least for me, I just really appreciated the design. I'm going to go S tier, to be honest, because it's just really creative. It's a fun look, but it just looks good at the same time. This looks like Colorado to me. On to the Kansas City Royals. I wanted to really like this one. When I first saw it, I love the colors. I love that navy blue. I love that baby blue. I love the logo most of all. I think the logo is extremely awesome. I love it. It pays homage to the fountains there in Kansas City. But I don't know what it is. Like, I guess the best way to say it is I want to love this jersey, and I just can't. Like, it's too safe. I don't want to say it's boring, but it just needs something. Like, I feel like it could have had so much more. The logo was just awesome. Like, I think that's one of the best logos out of all of these. But everything else just kind of falls short to me. I do like the sleeves. I like the white and the light blue there, but I don't know, like, it needs something. I don't know if it needed, like, some pinstripes or some lines going down the middle of the jersey near the buttons. I don't know. I want to love this jersey, but to me, I kind of just have to settle with a C. The Chicago White Sox. This one is absolutely fantastic. It's so simple, but so good at the same time. South side, right across the jersey. I love the font. That's probably the best font out of all of these. Maybe you can make the argument for a couple other jerseys on here, but to me, the White Sox font is just awesome. Like, I love this. It pays homage to architectural design over in Chicago, but it has sort of that hip hop kind of feel to it, like that old school hip hop feel. And I remember, albums coming out in the 90s, like you would see that kind of font just all over the place. I love it. The pinstripes, I'm a sucker for pinstripes. I know Yankee fans are going to come after me here, but I like me some pinstripes. What can I say? And I love the pinstripes on this jersey. It's just so effective. Like, it's so good. Easily an S tier for me. On to the Atlanta Braves, and when I first saw these jerseys, the first thing I thought of was Hank Aaron chasing the home run record back in the day. In the 70s, they had very similar colors to these. Instead of having Braves on the front, they put the A. I thought that was, a nice, simple touch. When I'm looking at these jerseys, I like the colors. I love those colors, but I kind of like the Royals. I feel like it's missing something. I'm not sure what it is. I like what they did on the sleeve there. It just feels like it needs something. I'm not sure what that is. For me, I love the colors. I think the A, the logo is awesome. Honestly, I just love that logo, to be honest with you. But for me, it's just missing some things. I'm going to go with a C. On to the Texas Rangers, and what they're doing here is paying homage to the history of baseball in Texas. They're representing 3 different teams with this jersey. You got the Dallas Eagles, the Fort Worth Panthers, and the Dallas-Fort Worth Spurs. I think that's an awesome idea. They're trying to tell a story with just a jersey. I love the font. I love the Spurs that's in the font. I like the red numbers. I love that off-white sort of cream color with this. I think it's an awesome jersey, and I love that they're telling a story with it. They're being creative in like a different way, where like the Rockies, they have the mountains right in the back, so that's how they got creative. But with the Rangers, they got creative by using different parts of the jersey to simply tell a story of the history of baseball. I think the colors look great. I love the navy blue. I love the red. I love the off-white. I'm going to be honest with you. This one hits home for me. This might be a bit of a surprise here. I think a lot of people might be a little divided on this one. For me personally, I'm going S tier for this Rangers jersey. I'm going to be honest here. When I see these guys wearing this jersey, it looks awesome to me. I love it. I don't know. I just love it. What can I say? S tier for me. When I see the Padres City Connect jerseys, the one word I think of is simply just fun. I think these are cool looking jerseys. I love the colors. I love the pink, the mint green, the yellow. I think that was just a nice combo. I like how each sleeve has a different color. I think that's a pretty nice touch. But what these jerseys are doing, and the font as well, it's paying homage to San Diego as well as Mexico, so because you have a lot of fans from both of those areas. I think it's just a fun looking jersey. It almost gives me like a Miami Vice kind of a feel to it. I think it's just a fun jersey. To me, when I first saw these out, I said to myself, wow, these are going to fly off the shelf because they're visually appealing. It's like they almost went safe, sort of, but they did it in the most fun way possible. For that, I'll give the Padres an A. On to the Seattle Mariners, and what they did here was they took a few things from their past and they blended it into a uniform. On the jersey, it simply just says Seattle, but the font is the same font that the Pilots used back in the day, who ended up becoming the Milwaukee Brewers after one season. On the sleeve, you have a patch that's paying homage to the aviation in Seattle. I think that's a nice looking logo there. But I love the colors. What that's doing, the blue and the yellow, that's paying homage to when the Mariners were first around. Those are the same colors that they used back in the day. I think those are really good colors, the blue and the yellow. The Red Sox have blue and yellow, but I think the Mariners did the blue and the yellow just better here, in my opinion. I don't know. Maybe I'm just more of a fan of blue. That's just me. On the hat, I will be a bit nitpicky here. I love the trident. I love the trident so much that I wish it was on the jersey somewhere. I just love the trident. That's one of my favorite logos, like one of my favorite retro logos. I think it's just a good, solid jersey all the way around. I kind of had a hard time picking where to put this. Like, I want to go A, but I feel like for me personally, that could be a little high, but then when I'm thinking B, I think that's a little low. I think it's like a B plus, if that makes sense. I'll be generous because I really like the colors. I think it's a good color scheme. I'll go A. I think it is visually appealing, but I also just like what they did, going back in time, blending in a few things with the jersey. For me, That gets an A. On to the Cincinnati Reds, and when I think of the Reds, I think of a ton of history in their franchise, but what they did here is they went with a bit more of a modern take. It simply just says Cincy across the front. I like that. It's simple but effective, but what I like what they did here is they went with a black jersey. That's just a tough look to me. When I think of Cincinnati, I think of just a tough town, and I just like what they did here. It's simple, safe, but just bold at the same time, if that makes sense. I love the black. I love the red. I think that's awesome. With the logo on the hat, what's going on there, it's a C, but there's like kind of waves incorporated into it. And what that's representing is like a new energy within the franchise, a new energy in Cincinnati. You know, it's like ever growing. I just like the look. It's simple but effective. The one nitpick I will have is they have the C logo on the hat, but also on the jersey. I thought that was personally a little lazy to me. I would have liked to see like a different patch here. I think they could have used this patch on the sleeve. What this is representing is this motto here represents strength and unity, and then you got the Buckeye leaf, which is paying homage to Ohio. I thought that would have been really good here to put on the sleeve. That's just me. It's more of a nitpick. In the end, I think it's just a simple, clean, but bold look at the same time. I think they did a good job here. For me, I'll go with a B. Up next, we have the Baltimore Orioles, and when I first looked at this jersey, I thought this is kind of boring, kind of weird at the same time. I'm not really sure what they're going for here, but I think that's actually what they were trying to do. They went with a simple design on the outside, but on the inside is where they have their fun. What the pattern is representing is everything that makes up the neighborhoods within Baltimore, how there's just so many different aspects where you got, you know, schools and barbershops and a whole bunch of different businesses as well, you know, different arts going on, different cultures within Baltimore. So I think that was a pretty nice little take that they did there. I thought that was pretty creative. For me, the font, Baltimore, I think that's a little boring, to be completely honest. Like, I don't know. I think you could have done more there, but I think that's kind of what they were going for. I think they could have just executed it a little better. Like, again, it's hard because I know what they're going for. I like the idea, but I don't know. I feel like you could have done a little bit more with this jersey. Again, if that's what they were going for, I can understand it. You know, it's kind of one of these jerseys. I'm not really sure what really to think of it. I guess I think you could go with a D or you could go with a C. It's kind of almost like the Giants to me, where they tried to be creative and they just didn't quite hit it. You know, if that makes any sense. Like with the Giants, they did the fog and everything, which I thought was a cool little concept, but it just feels like there's something missing. I'm kind of the same with the Orioles, honestly. It just feels like there's something there. I would put this higher than the Giants. I think you could go with a C, a D. I think for me, it's kind of that same level as the Giants. I'll go with a D. And last but not least, we got the newest jersey on the block, the Pittsburgh Pirates. People were pretty excited to see what the Pirates were going to do. Pittsburgh is a very awesome city, and I think, you know, inspiration was through the roof with this one. And for me personally, I think they just missed. You know, when you're looking at the details closer in the jersey, I like that they made the Three Rivers design like within the yellow. I think that looks really cool. I think it pops. It gives it that sort of just a nice feel to that jersey. It wakes the jersey up a bit instead of just putting like just a plain yellow. I do like that. And they even did it within the black as well. It pops a little bit more, and I like that. But where you lost me is just the PGH on the front. This, to me, looks like a high school baseball jersey, you know, just looking at the letters. Again, when you can see the yellow, it pops a little bit because it has that pattern to it. But the PGH, and while it does have that similar pattern in the letters, I just think you swung and missed here. Like, you could have gone with Steel City right across the front. I think if you replace PGH with Steel City, I think automatically that bumps it up even more. I think the font itself is just kind of boring to me. I just think they completely ruined it on the front with just the letters in general. I think everything else about the jersey is fine, and it pops a bit, but the letters just ruin it. I don't know, like Washington, they went with a very simple take, like WSH, but they did it so much better. Like the font is just bold, they got the pink in there, and just the Pirates, they just fell flat with it. I don't know. For me, the Pirate, like, I liked what they did with the pattern in the jersey. I like the hat as well. I think the hat, it has like that same design. I think it's simple but effective. And the Pirates, they tried to go with simple but effective, and they went with simple, but it wasn't effective to me. I hope I'm making sense here. But the Pirates, for me, I don't know. I think it's going to be an F or a D for me personally. I do like that design in the yellow. It makes it pop a little bit. So for that, I'll give it a little bit of a bump here, but the letters completely ruin it for me. That's my take. And that's my take on all of these jerseys. Let me know what you think down below. Would you move any of these up or down? I'd love to know all your thoughts down below in the comments. If you can, on the way out, hit the like, subscribe if you're new. But that's all I have for right now, everyone. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you next time.